bring in Dr. James, who is the CEO of Diamond Physicians. He has spoken extensively about this, and he's really been in the midst of the fight here in North Texas with regard to testing people and finding out what our community is like. Dr. James, first of all, welcome in. Good to see you.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, what's the deal with this? Is this a safe ride to have taken for the president, considering that the Secret Service agents did have PPE on?
No, unfortunately, this was a kind of a reckless move by the president, and he didn't have an N95 mask on as well. He had a regular cloth mask. So that was a little bit disappointing. I understand that he wants to convey a message that he's feeling well and doing well, but he does have coronavirus COVID-19, and oxygen saturations can drop at any time. So from a medical standpoint, it was a bad move to take a ride in that limo, and then also exposing the Secret Service officers that were in the car with him, in a sealed vehicle, was also, in my opinion, reckless.
And after Saturday's briefing, which left me, frankly, Dr. Pinckney, confused about what his condition actually was, Dr. Sean Conley the next day then admitted that, in fact, he was painting a rosier picture than was reality and acknowledged that the president's oxygen saturation levels had dropped twice. He was on remdesivir, but he also mentioned that steroid,
dexamethasone.
Something. Help us out, Dr. James.
We're just going to call it the Dex. He took the dexamethasone. Every other medical opinion and expert that I've read, including the World Health Organization's guidelines, say that is a medication given when somebody is having severe complications. How do you square those two things? He's taken this medication for what could be severe symptoms and yet is able to speak to camera and get in a limo and take a ride.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflicting data coming from the president's medical team. They haven't been transparent at all, and that's a little bit disappointing. Typically, remdesivir and Regeneron, as well as dexamethasone, are used for moderate to severe cases of COVID-19, especially with the experimental drug Regeneron, which is the monoclonal antibodies that haven't received EUA approval from the FDA. So there's a lot of conflicting data. You would think that the president would be in worse shape clinically than he is showing. I understand the theory of wanting to show strength and wanting to make sure that the president appears to be okay. But I think at this point, it's okay to tell the truth, and we should hear the truth. Now, if the president isn't doing well, that's okay, and he needs all these treatments and these different therapies, that's okay. I would like to see much more transparency from the medical team and the president.
Yes, some people who have been watching this play out and have had family members battle this or even pass away because of COVID-19 are seeing the list of treatments and thinking, gosh, I wonder if my family member had this same treatment plan, would they have survived? From your perspective, what do you think about the way that they are treating the president's COVID-19, especially, when we hear, in layman's terms, we think not approved, is that okay? Or should that not approved thing have been used to help out my family member?
Sure. And that's a tough situation because, the president is the president of the United States. And as a concierge doctor myself, I understand VIP medicine thoroughly. But at the same time, sometimes giving a person too many therapies can also be detrimental. So you have to weigh the experimental use of drugs as well as approved use for each individual case. Now, in this case, the president was given compassionate use, and he's the president. So he's going to be able to get things that you and I, Jenny and Ron, can't get. However, we don't know if that was the right course of action, and we may never know. So if you're at home watching this, I wouldn't be too disgruntled about all this special treatment that the president is receiving. The things that he has gotten is available to everyone. Zinc, vitamin D, aspirin, famotidine, which is an acid blocker. Those all have decent clinical studies that show some effectiveness against COVID-19 in some shape or form. Okay. So stick to those four things. The remdesivir is not widely available, but it has been approved. And, at the end of the day, prevention is key. Wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and make sure you don't put yourself in a situation that you are exposed to COVID-19.
One final question, Dr. Pinckney, and that is it possible, and I've read this as well, that during even these early stages of being treated for COVID, you can have moments, hours at a time where you feel fine, but then things can take a turn. Would the president benefit from really sort of trying to quiet himself and just allow treatment to take place as opposed to getting up and sitting at a desk or taking a ride and those sorts of things?
Absolutely. The president needs to rest. He's on a various cocktail of medications. Dexamethasone in particular can give you a sense of feeling much, much better than you actually are. COVID-19, especially in days 6 through 8, you can have rapid decreases in your oxygen saturation. They call it happy hypoxia, where you actually feel great, but your oxygen saturations are dropping. So for the president's own well-being, he should be resting. He should be in the hospital, probably in a bed, relaxing, trying to gather his strength, not riding around in a limo where he is not hooked up to monitors and readily assessed to make sure his oxygen saturations are okay.
Dr. James, this has been incredibly helpful. Thank you for providing the perspective. And I know you're so busy, so we'll let you back to work. But thank you again so much.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Again, he is the CEO of Diamond Physicians, diamondphysicians.com. You guys also know him from the TV show Chasing the Cure. So that's why he's so savvy on the camera. Thank you, Dr. James.
We always enjoy him.